Hello and welcome to Into Your Life podcast. I'm Lenka and I'm joined here by my wonderful co-host Natalie.
Hi, we invite you to join our weekly conversations about finding more life in one's life.
Well, what does it actually mean?
We have discussions with guests about ways to live happier, healthier, and more fulfilling lives, both personally and professionally.
That sounds great. Let's go. Today we have another brilliant guest waiting here to chat with us. We have Alexandra Vaisova to talk about her incredible, unique business that she founded just outside of Cambridge. And Cambridge is where we've met many years ago. I think it was the beginning of her very interesting business journey, very turbulent journey because, well, it's been turbulent a couple of years for all of us. We met at a networking event and we've immediately connected, partially because we come from the same place. We were both born in Czechoslovakia, so we both have this Czech and Slovak roots. And it's always nice living abroad to meet a fellow from your country, but also around her passion for nature and living kind of connected life with the nature and bringing in lots of healing aspects. So I will let Alexandra to actually properly introduce herself, her business, her philosophy, and then we're going to dive into this conversation and see where it's going to take us. Hi, Alexandra.
Yes, hello. Thank you very much for introduction. Very nice one. And yes, so good afternoon to everyone. So my name is Alexandra. I was born in Czechoslovakia many years ago. 53 now, and I came to this lovely tolerant country back in 2005, but because I just didn't speak English and I was on the top of the career which I could do in the little town where we are from, without the English there wasn't really much to progress. Obviously, when I was young, when I studied, the Russian language was compulsory. But after all these political changes, obviously, so Russian wasn't really something which I could secure good future for my girls. So English came, and massive needs that coincide with the UK opening the market for us, people from Eastern Europe. And I was living in this small town with my two girls. On that time, they were 13 and 14-year-old. I was divorced almost whole day life and got them on my own all the time. And I just saw all these young people who I knew from this small town going to the UK, coming back after several months, very, full of enthusiasm. Yes, it is possible to make it in England if you work hard. There is a work there and all that. And I thought, well, if I want to start a new life, if I want to learn English, obviously I didn't have enough funds to study only. I knew that I need to earn money in the same time. And if these young guys, young people can make it, I can try do that as well. So yeah, I decided to move to England without knowing absolutely anything. I was concentrated about organize the school for my girls, so their education in their school is not finished, despite we moved and there and so on. And so on one day in 2005, I just arrived with no English, no connections. I had £500 which was a big money. And that time for us, especially from Eastern Europe. And by all sorts of coincidence, I arrived to Birmingham. I can't even pronounce that properly until now. And that was a shock. With all the respect to the lovely city, which I had no sort of bad experience with, but I didn't expect that. My vision in my mind was, rolling countryside, sheeps, Hercule Poirot style, dress code of the people, lovely country houses, everything clean. And I ended up in a suburb of Birmingham, which was absolutely contrast to what I was used to. So that was my very first sort of touch with England. I arrived on Wednesday, started to looking for a job, and comes Monday, I employed myself in a Holiday Inn hotel near the show center in Birmingham. So it was basically, I suppose I was very lucky, but I didn't wait the luck to come to me. I just went there. I was very, very shocked, not only because of the environment and how different than my expectation the whole area looked like, but I was also shocked to be away from my girls for the first time, because this first journey, it was only for 3 months, from June till beginning of September, when I had a flight ticket back. And I said myself that if I'm not going to make it, if I'm not going to survive during these 3 months, then I go back and I carry on with my life in the city where I'm from, or town. But I didn't expect that horrible pain being without the girls, because this was the very first time I was without them. Yes, my parents were helping me with them. They took them for holiday for 1 week, let's say. But this was completely different situation. So every mother I saw, despite it was a black lady with 3 boys, I saw myself, despite I had 2 girls and I was different race and all of that. Every single mother reminded me that this is what I am, and I incredibly miss that. So that was the hardest part. But I suppose that pain made it easier for me to overcome everything else. And because I somehow knew, yes, I was doing that for myself, but I knew that I'm doing that for the girls as well. Sort of, yeah, I was determined I'm going to make it. Yeah, so that was my first thing. And then by another coincidences, fortunately, I stayed in Birmingham only for 3 weeks. And then I found myself a job in a little town or little village called, or hamlet called Barefoot, near Ludlow, close to the Wales border. And that was the area where there were sheep, a beautiful country house near Barlord, lived there with their family. A lady was our customer in a pub all the time, really. So, and that was the time when I was perhaps the only foreigner in a whole area, and everyone was incredibly lovely to me. Everyone smiled, everyone wished me good luck. And that was something which encouraged me really to carry on. I started to read my very first English book, which then my friend, now still my partner and the best person in life I ever met, Bart, bought me, but at that time we know each other. He bought me that on a charity shop. It was called Little Red Fox. The letters were so big. The story was about the little orphan Rufus. And that was the first book I started to read. It took me maybe 1 week to read one page, but that's how I started to learn English. Yeah, so yeah, that is the beginning, how I came. Then, as I said, again, I obviously it was far less Eastern Europeans at that time, so there wasn't such a pressure. We didn't hear anything bad, but after several years, we then learned, before Brexit and all of that. So I couldn't find better environment to encourage me to go through all of this. Of course, I did work hard, and they saw that. But still, that encouragement, Lenka, you know that it is very different. Our culture, we are very honest. If we don't like something or if we feel something is not right, we say that. Now I do understand that it is a part of a British culture and tradition to smile and to be very polite, perhaps whatever is behind. But I didn't care then, and I don't care now, because maybe I'm able to read between the lines a little bit more. But on the other hand, behind each smile, I can find that good thing. So, and those ones are all the lessons which are perhaps not that related with the business now, but I can still sort of like get that energy from that, seeing these people, seeing people encourage you, whatever they think, really, if they smile, if they are not making your life more miserable, it just gives energy. And I believe that everyone can do that because it just comes back.
I can totally relate with that because I struggled finding myself in the Czech Republic, finding a place for belonging. I always felt like I don't fit in. And really, truly, the first time I felt like I'm being fully myself, I'm being accepted and supported and appreciated for who I am, was when I moved to the UK. And it was interesting that when a friend came for a visit and we were kind of traveling around, and one day she looked at me and she's like, well, you know, you're such a nicer person when you speak in English. Just a little bit of the language, a little bit of the Britishness has rubbed on me. And it was visible in the language, even when speaking Czech, was more kind of behaving and acting. And the languages play into it and the surroundings play into it. But I can definitely say that, yes, the environment in the UK, it's very supportive, encouraging, positive, no matter what people might be thinking. So I'm glad that you found yourself, you know, being happy and encouraged and accepted there. And I would love to know a little bit more on how then this idea of setting up a business and setting up this business in particular that you have came about. You know, what were the initial steps? What motivated you to want to be, you know, you have a business that kind of health and wellness and well-being and nature and all of it together. How did this idea come about, and what were the steps you've taken to start it?
Yeah. So, well, a few years later, that lovely person called Bart, who was the person who is now my partner, and that time at the very beginning, we just know each other as from the community. But a few years later, he showed me Cambridge when I was still in Brereton. He said, because I knew, well, I suppose I'm going to bring my kids here. So, but which town? I knew that this little hamlet is definitely not suitable because there was nothing, absolutely nothing for them. We didn't have cars and so on. So we needed to move somewhere to a little bit to more civilization, if you wish. So, and I didn't want to go to London because, yeah, so I felt that it could be perhaps danger, with all the respect to London, of course, but I wouldn't be able to find accommodation in a secure, well areas. The girls were 14, 15 at that time, two naive girls from a little town, completely different world. And yeah, it was Bard who showed me Cambridge. I made a research. Obviously, being in Cambridge for the very first time, it's very easy to fall in love with the city. Then I made a research about the criminality, about the schools. Also, a big deal was that Stansted was really very close by, so I knew we can travel home very often, and we settled in Cambridge. Not with my English improved a little bit, but it wasn't enough for finding a proper professional job. So I carried on with hospitality. I started as a waitress in Fitzwilliam Museum. And at that time, we rented a house and started to host language school students. And that was the time when we saw that actually Bart's ability of fixing absolutely everything. He has a typical zlaté české ručičky, which is like golden Czech hands. So basically he can fix everything. With my hospitality, with the way how I run our household. So the language students were always really very happy with us. So we were always approached by other schools and so on. So we knew that we can work together really very well. But we always wanted to go home. And that time we managed to secure a tiny little cottage in a house in a village where my parents are living, and we thought we are going to renovate it, and we will do sort of slow tourism kind of thing, you know, just bringing people to the village and to the so to do that. And so that was the plan. And that was the trigger why when we started to think about what if we are going to completely move from UK to, this is in Slovakia, and work together properly full time together as a couple, we should start to do together something while we move out. Because if we just realize suddenly that being 24 hours together and dealing with the same problems all the time is just too much for for our relationship, yeah, we will break up and I will embarrass, you know, myself in front of all the family and friends and all of that. So we were just thinking about finding some business while we are still in Cambridge. But I knew that I don't want to borrow money. That was one of the criteria. It needs to be something which doesn't require big investment. Until very now, I'm very old-fashioned. I do believe in my own money. It's perhaps not the right business way of thinking. If I'm a high flyer, yes, most probably, but this is not how we are. So that was one of the criteria. We made some little, him as a lorry driver, me as a waitress. We still were able to put some money aside. So the plan was set up a business only with our savings. Second criteria was no establishment, not established competition. That was the thing, because I knew my English was 15 years worse than it is now. We had no business connections. I don't have MBA or anything like that giving me enough confidence. So I knew that we have to come with an idea or with something where there would be no other players to compete with or to. And the third criteria was, and that was perhaps the most challenging one, to start something which we both like. And we are so super different. We have almost nothing in common, bless him. But only thing that we are not money worshippers, that we are both very hardworking, and that we both like outdoor. That is perhaps what we have in common until now. And when we came across, so that's where we were just thinking what we are going to do. We were thinking bed and breakfast in Cambridge, but that was a massive investment and all of that. And then we came across of one of these wood-fired hot tubs in Lake District here in the UK, and we both like it. But like the fact of the technical concept, how super simple and very reliable and very economical to run they are. And I like the concept that to enjoy these wood-fired hot tubs, you have to do something. It is not like you press the button and the entertainment comes. We never thought that we will, you know, grow or anything like that. But I just thought these hot tubs, perhaps if we start to maybe rent them out, or if a family has something like this, I imagine myself, if in completely different life, I have a normal family, and you know, with the family we live together in a beautiful house, and we want to do something over the weekend, this hot tub would be fantastic, because the kids, as well as dad or whoever, or one of the parents can, or both of them, or all of them can look after the heating. It takes 5, 6, 7 hours to heat it up. You need to measure the temperature. So basically, it just doesn't come really very quickly. And I thought this is fantastic for the kids, so they can learn that, you know, if you are disciplined, if you're doing that properly, the entertainment comes. And after the whole day of getting it ready, and the evening, the kids can play, then they are tired, go sleep, and then the parents can have a lovely time in there. Following day, the grandma can come and still, you know, dealing with her rheumatism or something. So that's what I like on them. And then I made a research about them, and they were absolutely unknown. So we just somehow just let's do something like with them. Let's try to rent them out. And Bart invented the system how to move them without needing any extra helper, any extra equipment. So yeah, so we started to move them ourselves. We set up our very first website. My girls, who were on that time, of course, they were living here, both were students in Impington. So they were showing me how to put the photos on to the website. Facebook came around, so that was a big deal. So girls, they were much better in so I was old-fashioned mom who did really struggled with Facebook and all of that. So yeah, and that's how we started the business. In 2010, the website went live. Pardon me, we were distributing the little leaflets which I designed. I got them printed. I do remember that it was on a hills road. He was doing one side of the road, I was doing one side, and I was so worried that we are going sort of like, disrupt people's privacy, putting my leaflets in there. So I was just really very silent, putting the leaflets into the letterboxes, where him on the other side, he was just making big noises and dogs were barking and everything. So that's how we really started renting them. So we had this one hot tub in our garage. One rental per month. And that was enough, because again, so he was employed, I was employed. We just learned how to create something together.
We've met somewhere around a time where you were looking to set up your first permanent location. You've been doing this for a few years, you've experimented, you've evolved, you've grown, and you started thinking and you were establishing a permanent venue with kind of this hot tubs and this idea of bathing under the sky and other things. So could you describe where the business kind of evolved to with the permanent venue, and how does it work? What services do you provide? What people really enjoy about the hot tubs right now?
Yeah, sure. So basically, from this very humble beginning, as I said, with one hot tub, I just received a few months afterwards, I received a phone call from Jamie, who is now our very dear friend, Jamie Howard, Secret Production London. Would you guys be interested to run a couple of hot tubs on a festival we are running? I had no clue what he's talking about. My England was, Cambridge. I completely forgot about what I saw in Birmingham. So I thought this is again, so he's talking something about, bringing the hot tub somewhere in a nice environment, calm environment. So I said yes, because he said that he's calling from London, and that was a big deal for me, So Lenka, we grown up in communism time, so everything which came from London was a big deal. So yeah, so the first festival was absolutely shocking for me. Obviously, never seen so many naked people, so many dressed up people and all of that. But people were so interested in our little hot tub, which we put somewhere in the middle of the field, because obviously we didn't know anything and organizers didn't give us too much instructions. But I saw massive, massive interest about what is this and can I use it and all of that. And that opened my eyes. So we started to develop these services, these wood-fired hot tubs on music festivals. Obviously, hygiene was always absolutely crucial for me. Again, with all the respect to this country, but you, Lenka, know how strict we are, how swimming pools in our countries are run. So it's completely different story. So, and I brought that kind of sort of like way of thinking into our business. So we added showers, of course. For showers were in a sort of like a tent. No, anyway. So we developed this system, the whole package, whole touring, well-being, bathing space. I don't like to call it spa because we are not a spa. Anyway. So we developed it for the festivals, and we were running enough festivals, getting bigger and bigger because there was a massive demand from the organizers as well as from the punters. And that was also not only that where we learn everything really in a bigger scale, but also where I got the inspiration. I saw these people coming every morning after heavy partying overnight, after camping several days and nights in rain and mud, basically grumpy, stressed, unhappy, really tired, physically, also emotionally. And after 2 hours of leaving from our hot tubs and cold water and sauna and obviously hot, nice, clean shower, they were leaving completely transformed. Red cheeks again, happy faces. And that happened again and again. Thousands and thousands of people on each festival. I saw that all the time. And that was the inspiration when I read a little bit what is happening in our brains, in our bodies, how incredibly powerful these machines are. All of us has the same body, same brain, and there is an incredible power for tackling this modern life, what we put ourselves into. We just need to give it a chance. So, and that was the inspiration for setting a permanent site. Exactly, Bathing Under the Sky, we were strong when we met Lenka. We were strong in that, but that was exactly when I was trying to find a space. I wanted to stay close to Cambridge because obviously we were slightly settled here, but also there is a right clientele here. Well educated, yes, I do admit there is money here, but also our services are not for rich only. We serve everyone, but people here are perhaps more open because there is a lot of people from all around the world. So I wanted to stay here. It is very so I wanted to offer such untraditional, unorthodox service to a clientele which is already open. Yeah, so that was the idea, setting up the permanent space. And it took us a while till we find the right position. And I don't regret that months and years till we didn't set up the space, because now I believe we couldn't have a better space when we have now close to Cambridge in Bourne.
So now that you have your beautiful space, you kind of survived COVID, you've relocated, there's lots of twists and turns on your business journey that you've been on. But as far as I can see, you are absolutely thriving right now. Mm-hmm. So I would love for you if you could describe the business that it is right now. How does it work? What do you provide? And maybe touch on a little bit of your philosophies, because I know that it's no longer just about the hot tubs. There's so much more to it on your land, around your business, in the philosophy, how you run it. So I would love for you to kind of tell us a little bit more about where the business is right now and what are the values that you really build it around.
Sure. Yes. So as I said, we do not call ourselves a spa. We definitely are not a spa. I think the best description what we are is a breathing and bathing space. And if we say bathing, we don't mean really in a hot water only, or in saunas only, or in a cold plunge pools only. We mean also bathing in fresh air, under the sky, bathing in rain, bathing in wind, bathing in everything what really, in every element what is out there. So we are very lucky. We secure this land. Part of this land used to be a golf course. Obviously, running a golf course wasn't anything which we wanted to go. So we let the Mother Nature to do the best, and we just let the grass to grow. So now we are rewilding meadows. There we created a barefoot walking path, which is part of the very natural activity. And basically the whole PAUS is about taking break. We are spelled PAUS without the E, which was a little bit of marketing thing I was advised to do. But it means taking a little break. It is just a Swedish spelling of the same word. So when our guests come to us, they are very welcome to stay on on the whole site for the whole day. So we are like a 1-day holiday destination, really. We advise them really to take off their shoes, not worried about a makeup or hairstyle. I believe happy smile and messy hair, that is the best beauty treatment what you can have. Many of our clientele, say 86% of our clientele are actually ladies, and half of that are my age. Yes, so 50, 53, well, I'm 353. So facing the menopause. And I keep saying so, and that's why they are so happy with us, because obviously not only physically what we are giving them, that cold water and hot water bathing, but also there is no pressure looking picture perfect. Whatever would they put on my face, I am not going to look 30 or 20 anymore. So I just need to embrace what I am and be very pleased with the fact that I am still here. Some of my classmates, actually, their friends, they are not with us anymore because they had some problems or some health issues. So they would pay millions of their families to have them around. So there is no point to think about being picture perfect. So that's why there is no many mirrors. There are some mirrors in our area, but not that many. So people come for whole day, and during this visit, 3 hours are allocated on a bathing side, hilltop bathing side, where we offer them these wood-fired hot tubs, very identical to the ones which we started with back in 2010. Those ones are heated in this weather as we have today. Today is a very horrible cold day. They are heated to the steaming temperature, so they are really very hot. And they make it much easier for people to go to the cold, because that is one of my mission on this world, just to let people understand to embrace the cold. Way before Wim Hof and similar people who are really doing a great job to promoting these things, but they are much stronger in marketing. This is what we are doing for so many years, because I saw that myself, as I mentioned. So we're encouraging people to get really very hot in the hot tubs, then go to the cold water. Even at the beginning, even stepping in there is enough. They are very welcome to scream and run away. Afterwards, they will come again. They also have saunas with cold showers there. And we are giving them lots of tap water to drink because they are sweating as well. So very, very often people say, oh, I didn't realize how fast the time flies here. So that is basically the experience at PAUS.
Often when Lenka comes back to the UK, we love coming to PAUS to just sit and enjoy the silence. I mean, you found this land near Cambridge, and when you sit there, you don't hear the traffic, you don't hear the busyness of Cambridge. I mean, Cambridge is a very vibrant city, and there's a lot of highways and motorways nearby, but you've managed to find this sanctuary in a bustling, city. And that's one thing that we really love about it. And you serve amazing healthy food. And one of the things that I really love, I mean, having grown up in South Africa, where it's a hot cliate, shoes are not worn. It's not because you don't have shoes. It's just we don't like to wear shoes.
Exactly.
I spent my life barefoot. And then you come to the UK and everybody wears shoes all the time. This barefoot culture doesn't happen here. And I totally get this culture, just this different cultures that you and Lenka experienced, because I've had that as well. But I'd love you to explain what is the benefits of your barefoot pathways that you have, and why do you create it with all these different surfaces that you have? Because you have wood chips, you've got golf balls, you've got stones, you've got sand, you've got mud, and Lenka has been like knee deep in mud in there. I was a bit of a chicken. I didn't want to get all muddy, but Lenka did. And can you explain why do you have, just for our listeners, what is the benefit of all these different surfaces that you have?
Yes, sure. So basically that piece of land, or that piece of golf course, it is a large piece of land, beautiful one. First and foremost, I wanted to put different surfaces for everyone, even for people who would not think about the health benefits, which I mentioned in a sec, but just to make it a little bit more interesting, to a little bit of, yeah, because kids are using that. They are not thinking about that they are massaging their feet or boosting their circulation, blood circulation, but they are having fun. But they are also outdoor. Obviously, we are very strict. We do not allow any food on that side, anything. We really are keeping that really very safe. All the surfaces, as you mentioned, wood chips or all sorts of stones, are from the material which we either found on the side or were donated by our customers if they have some few bags of sand left from some building projects. So we don't want to buy anything in there. Firstly, yes, it is about the costing, but first and foremost, this planet is already so cluttered. So why am I going to even encourage that? So that's the fun is one of the things. Being barefoot is really very healthy for your joints, for your blood pressure, as I said. It's very, very interesting how many people don't believe, but after one or two loops around our barefoot walking, they come and they said, you were right. Even in the winter, when it is cold and you are in your winter gears and everything, you take off your shoes. Yes, the first few steps are hard. You will have to have some sort of willpower. Yes, strong will, or push your body to do something, which is very, very good for your mental health as well. In believing in themselves, you need to see that you are good. And yes, taking off the shoes in a winter when it is cold, going into that disgusting, cold, squeaky, slimy mud section, that really requires some courage. But if you do that and you feel how good it is, blood starts to circulate. Actually, you are not cold at all. Your feet, you can't feed them because they are so cold, but on your body, you are not cold at all. Your mood lifts up because all these endorphins, because you are so surprised. Oh my gosh, this is so nice. As I said, one of the most favorite quote with one of our customer, it was actually a gentleman, oldish man, slightly older than me, and he came covered in his feet, covered. Oh, I feel like a naughty child, and he had such a spark in his eyes. So this is one of the benefits as well as these physical benefits, as we mentioned, because of the blood circulation. And once your blood circulates much faster, the toxins are released from your body faster. If you have less toxins, your immunity system works better. So, our bodies, our minds is a one big machine. It is not like one cure for everything. If every single part of this machine works in certain quality level, the whole machine works well as well. So that's why this is so, it's a cure on many things, really.
And I mean, the bottom of the feet are, I mean, as any reflexologist will say, you can target areas on the body through the bottom of your feet. So when you're massaging your feet and having these different surfaces, you actually, as you said, helping the rest of your body. One thing that I did notice, the couple of times that I've been there, you've got this blind walk where you close your eyes and you get to walk and feel that you're following the path. What made you do something like that? What inspired this blind walk? Is not looking through your eyes?
Well, actually, yes, I have all sorts of crazy ideas. So if I have only time to bring them, but as I say, we secured the land for 25 years. So I believe that I will bring at least half of them there. Not that I don't want really don't want to get PAUS to get busy or cluttered or something. Well, as I said, it used to be a golf course. So there were several of these areas which were like a circles, where now I don't have the right terminology, but where they were sort of like shooting the ball away, and they were in circles. So I wanted the grass to grow, but I somehow found it really very pretty that it was round. So I thought, well, so let's cut them. And because I'm doing barefoot walking every single morning and every single evening there with my doggies, so I always think what we can do. And this is what just came to my mind. So how, just am I able to find it, find a way through that? So I don't know, it just came to my mind. And I'm very pleased that you mentioned that, because actually we all, when there is a group of people, I always encourage them to do blind circle together and hold their hands. So they rely on each other, they lose such a powerful sense, and they can do that together. And it's a really, really very good quality time for a group of friends or couples or something. It's so simple. Really, what could be simpler? Just walking without shoes, having closed eyes, but it's incredibly powerful. And yes, I have fantastic feedback about that when people do that as a families or friends.
As a coach, and very much in the mental wellness arena, it's doing that blind walking, because it's I've tried it. It's very much in the moment. You can't be thinking of anything else. You really concentrate on putting one foot in front of the other and feeling with your feet the grass, because obviously the pathway that goes around is soft, but then when you get to the edges, it's longer and a bit more coarse. Absolutely. And you've really got to concentrate and focus on that one task of, am I still on the pathway or have I veered off? And it's quite, for me, I found it really interesting is that I'm thinking, oh, I must be nearly near the end. I think I've walked enough. And I cheat, I open my eyes and I'm like, I'm not even halfway yet.
Exactly.
Close them again. So it's a great exercise on just being right now in that moment of, this is me right now, feeling with my feet and allowing my body to experience the soft grass or the coarse grass, and okay, I got to go a bit more left and not so much right. But it's a great, just as you said, just being in that moment, having that holiday for the day, having that pause, just that stopping. And it's great for me, because it reminds me of growing up in South Africa. And the one thing I love is you don't have thorns. In South Africa we have these things called devil thorns, and they just get everywhere, and they hurt your feet, and it can take you hours to pluck them out. So I'm really pleased you don't have thorns, but you've got everything else: stones, wood logs, wood chips, golf balls, mud, sand, coarse sand, smooth sand. So all these different sort of surfaces, which just help for mental health. Because right now people are stressed, they are at burnout or towards burnout, and just taking that moment to walk barefoot for 20 minutes, for half an hour, then to go into the hot tubs, the cold tubs, the saunas, and then you can finish off the day with a lovely healthy meal that's cooked really well. You can see that it's good nutritional food. It's not slapped in the microwave, ready meal or anything. It's really lovely food, and you offer a lot of water with lemon in it. So it's a really great way to just pause, as you said.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. Thank you. So it's very nice to hear from you as a professional, because obviously, yes, it is. I can see this benefit without without knowing that much. Yes, as I said, I did study, but it was more intuitive when we were putting all these things together. We do have thistle, though. I have to mention we do have thistle, so it is a painstakingly taking out from the barefoot walking. But yes, if you are in a blind circle and you go too much into the course, sometimes you can come across on that. But we are keeping it. It's my love and hate relationship with thistle, because when it is in blossom, so many bugs are feasting on that. So when it is not, so we are rather trying when the blossom is over, so we are actually cutting it by hands. Yeah, so it's managing thistle is a big thing I'm learning about. And we are at the beginning, I have to say.
Yeah, this thistle in this thistle and stinging nettles are things that I've learned to experience since I've been here.
Nether is good. Nether is good.
It is good. So
Yeah.
one thing you offer is forest bathing. Can you explain a little bit what is forest bathing and what is the benefits of forest bathing?
Well, we sort of like, there are trees in there where you can call it as a forest bathing, but I know that, for example, in Japan, there is a far more sophisticated and more advanced movement of forest bathing. So perhaps what we do there, calling that way, is perhaps a little bit just maybe we are like a baby forest bathers. But it's again very much the same as we were talking about when you are bathing in fresh air. You are close to the trees, you listen, you just listen to the leaves, you can touch them, you can hug them, whether you are hippie or not, you are not hippie. You don't have to think about that you are touching a soul if you don't believe in that, but you definitely touch it, and you feel different surface, you feel different temperature, you feel that you are actually touching something which is living creature. So basically, forest bathing is taking a moment to appreciate, to listen, to see whatever the magic trees or majestic trees are giving us. So we do have that, and we are planning, we have a little spinny where we are planning to do a little bit of sort of like a more into the forest bathing. But at the moment, yes, as I said, we are more on the beginning of the journey. But you can do forest bathing even in a city center where there are trees. Just stop and listen and have a look how many little creatures are in that tree, how many birds, how much shade it provides, because trees are fantastic creatures.
So forest bathing is something that is new to me. Lenka actually introduced me to the words forest bathing, and I just had visions of, I don't know, running around the forest naked or something. I don't quite know what visions I had.
Why not?
So you have hammocks in a lovely little wooded area that you've got these hammocks. So if you're lying in a hammock and just listening to the sounds that is going on, is that like forest bathing? Just listening to nature?
Yes, exactly. Obviously, there are people, all the more advanced services who are providing forest bathing. They do talk about the energy, electrical energy of the trees. I'm not that far from that I would feel sort of like that I have authority to perhaps talk about that much. But yeah, there is definitely that energy, but I never measure that. But we did measure actually electrical current of the earth when you are doing barefoot walking. So that's for definitely it is there. So so it is just stop in the moment and appreciate that creature which started many years ago as a tiny little seed, and now it is much bigger than we are, and most probably will be there when we are not there. So,
and I mean, you've got to start somewhere. So I like how you said you are a baby forest bathing. You have to start somewhere, and it's usually good to start from the beginning. And as you said, you just doing it slowly and starting to introduce the ideas of forest bathing and the you know, just the idea of being outdoors bathing. I mean, the majority of English swim indoors, and they do like their outdoors, but that's for walking, take the dog for a walk or go to the seaside. This idea of, getting into a swimming costume or naked and getting into water is not very big in the UK. I think it's growing. It is developing with wild swimming and everything else, but it's not something that would have automatically happened.
Yeah, that's true. Obviously there is that. I can see that the far more people are now into outdoor swimming and also cold water. Still, we have every single weekend we have far more people who have never entered cold water, which is always a challenge for me to encourage them. And I love to listen when they are leaving. They said how lovely it was and how rare it was. Obviously swimming in a nature, this is a really very dense country, so the rivers are not that clean and all of that, so it's hard to really to get everyone. As when I'm talking about about Czechoslovakia, where Lenka and I am from, we have one of the advantages of perhaps not being as well developed, despite we have internet and electricity, so we are not like we are completely not developed, but it's less dense population, so we can find far more spaces of the lakes and little ponds and mineral water quarrels where we can swim.
Again, I mean, I grew up in rivers and dams and just swimming outdoors, and everything was cold. You'd never had a heated swimming pool. It was unheard of. But it's just lovely how you brought this idea, and it's growing. It's you're getting busy. People are starting to learn about the benefits of walking barefoot, the benefits of being out in nature and with water and all that. Can you share with us sort of 3 or 5 really top reasons why our listeners should or could, or why they need to embrace nature and take off their shoes, even if it is raining and freezing cold, and experience that, or experience the outdoor bathing and that? Can you give us some really practical sort of benefits to why they should do it?
Well, I always say that actually we didn't invented anything. We just put together in a convenient and comfortable way all the elements which are natural to us. Humans, millions of years during the evolution, we were outdoor, in cold, in rain, in hot, we were on fresh air, we were looking on green spaces, we were barefoot walking, we were always wet because if it was raining or all of that. Only the last 100 years, we are, well, in your country, maybe last 200 years, we are wearing shoes. We are always in a heated environment or in some air-conditioned environment, watching the screen. Our bodies and brains didn't have time to adjust after millions of years getting ready to survive outdoor. Suddenly, yes, it is the comfort, but we are just not ready, and that the bodies are not ready. We still need to get that energy out, that energy which is in our body ready to tackle the heat, the cold, or running. Basically, I would say we are maybe victims of the comfort. So that's why people are getting stressed, because there is the energy inside of us and there is nowhere to put it out. So coming to us, especially when it is bad weather, is fantastic, because we will make it very comfortable thanks to the hot water, very entertaining thanks to jumping to cold water and running back you get endorphins, dopamines, adrenaline, all sorts of. And you will breathe fresh air. Normally, if it's rain, what most of the people stay, if we are not working, if it is Saturday, Sunday, stay home on a sofa, most probably with the phone in your hand. And then in the afternoon time, you just feel, oh, I should have moved more. My eyes are really hurting because of that screen time. Whenever you come to us, you don't know how the time pass away, and you've been exposed to the fresh air. And again, you've been like just looking on that beautiful environment around. So yeah, it's just really back to the nature, what we did evolve into, and just somehow just the modern life just somehow took us away from. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. And it's been so wonderful to have this conversation with you and see where you came from and how you ended up where you are at PAUS, and encouraging people to connect more with nature and be together with each other, and take a pause in their lives. And I love that even things like your food, the way you cook, you grow so much of your own produce, everything is locally sourced, everything is organic. You work with a lot of volunteers who do help you out to maintain the property and to grow things. So it is very much going to the basics of how I remember growing up in the middle of nowhere in Czech Republic, going foraging for mushrooms and for herbs and growing our own, vegetables and fruits and having our own animals and creating our own produce, and then bartering and exchanging with your neighbors. I have too much lettuce, you have too much courgette, you have this, exchanging and working in communities. And I think this is something that we need in our detached, kind of fast-paced, ready meal fueled world, where we need to connect with each other, we need to connect with the nature around us, and that allows us then to connect with ourselves within, to really be connected. So thank you so much for being here. If anyone wants to come and explore, even if they're passing by Cambridge, or if they want to come, tell us a little bit more about where they can find you online, how they can discover more about your philosophies, and how they can potentially come over for a day, visit, explore, and experience all of this for themselves.
Yes, sure. So the best way would be through our website, PAUS Cambridge, PAUS Cambridge, where you can read what we offer, our philosophy, our story, also sorts of things, but also you can book tickets there for the bathing itself. Visiting the bistro doesn't require a reservation. Obviously, if it is a group more than 4 people, we rather ask people to reserve a table, because we are not big establishment and getting popular. So it is better. The barefoot walking is available for everyone who is using our bistro, or it is also included in a bathing ticket. The bathing tickets are, again, for the full package is 3 hours hot tub, cold water, cold plunge pools. Every Thursday and Sunday now we have ice o'clock. So one of these plunge pools is actually top up with ice to put it a little bit down, because of the regulars, they are getting really very used to cold water. So just add them extra challenge. But you can also buy a sauna only ticket, which is for 2 hours. I do mention the price, hopefully you wouldn't mind. For example, so the sauna is £16 for 2 hours of really, really proper hot sauna. We have regulars, Finnish people who keep saying the best sauna outside of Finland I have. So it is really very roasting hot sauna with the cold showers, cold plunge pools, with the beautiful views, as well the access to the barefoot walking. Yeah, we are open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all year round, almost all year round. So from now, September, we are going to be open until mid of December. Then we have 2 weeks break for Christmas. We will open for 1st of January, despite it is on Monday. because it is like a new year, new me. The bathing side would be very much the same, but on a bistro. Lenka, you would most probably like to hear that we are going to serve all the food inspired by the traditions and superstitions from our country. So a lot of lentils, because the more lentil you eat, the more money will come to your way. Lots of poppy seed. You cannot leave any poppy seed on the plate, because that would mean that the money will go away. Lots of cabbage, novoročná kapusnica, which is a sort of like a very, very heavy sauerkraut stew thing. The more cabbage, because cabbage is shredded into sort of like a shape which reminds money. So again, you should eat money and prosperity. So we are going to do that on the 1st of January. And then we are going to open whole January, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, as usually. January is usually our busiest month. Again, the worse weather, the better PAUS experience. We definitely not, no one is cold with us, that's for sure, except of us team. We are rather cold, but yes, our customers are not. Then we have a 5 or 6 weeks break in February and March because of the rain. Bathing itself would be lovely in that rain, but our soil, our grounds are really very heavy clay, and in that time around February it is just mud. So we don't want that to be used by it would damage the ground if people are walking there. And then we are open again all year round. Again. So again, so buying the tickets would be the best through the website.
Perfect. Well, I'm looking forward to my next visit, and maybe this time I might be able to convince Natalie to actually go into the hot tubs. No?
Yes.
Cool. No? We always enjoy the nature. We always enjoy the grounds and some good food. And I would love one day to come and actually enjoy the hot tubs and the sauna and the cold pool as well. But for anyone from Cambridge or around, if you're passing by, then please definitely do stop by, have a look at the grounds, soak in the nature, have something nice to eat, relax, and take a pause. So thank you, Alexandra, for being here, sharing your story, and inspiring us and our listeners to really, lean more into our lives, have more of this connection in our lives.
If you enjoyed listening to our conversation, please share it with your friends and colleagues, and don't forget to subscribe. We would love it if you could give us a 5-star rating and write a short review.